Zutlo! You guys, we got an adventure today. It's actually gonna be the next several days, but it's gonna be a trucking adventure, which are my favorite adventures. I love trucking adventures. Let me fill you in. I promise this will not be a 10-minute monologue. Hold me to that. Here's the deal. I got a call from a friend of mine, Troy Vanderboom out in South Dakota. Toilet Troy, the king of chaos, the poo purveyor, the purveyor of poo. I got a call from Troy Vanderboom, my friend, the purveyor of poo. Troy, that's the best I got for you. Toilet Troy, you guys remember how the big outhouses? So Troy calls and he says, I've got a toilet that needs moving. This has a little bit different dimension to it. I said, where are we going? He says, Wisconsin. And I said, is that why there's a different dimension to it? Is it a bigger toilet seat for the good folks of Wisconsin? JK, you know I love you. So he says, no, it's going out on Lake Michigan. We've got to go through Wisconsin, put our semi and our crane truck on a ferry and ferry across to an island and then install the toilet. We got to blast rock on the island, dig a hole, put this toilet in the hole, set it all up so that those Wisconsiners and those Michiganders out there on Lake Michigan can go out and have a nice toilet out there to use out on the high seas. Sorry, that got kind of New Yorky and weird. So we're gonna go. Cody's got my Cascadia Charlie Brown out on the road pulling hopper. So we're gonna grab a CABOVER and we are gonna grab a flatbed. I'm gonna grab Weedman Weeds to help run some cameras. And we are gonna go on a little summertime trucking adventure and see what the great high seas of Lake Michigan have to offer. And hopefully we do not suffer a similar fate as, what's the song? The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down the lake. What was the name of that song? Anyway, that freighter that sang. Hopefully that's not us with the toilet and the CABOVER on board. Let's go. Oh, what a deal, what a deal. Hey guys, it's Jax, and I've got a problem. The Edmund Fitzgerald! Hopefully this is not the wreck of the Edmund FitzJJ. Guys, I just realized I made a really silly mistake. I have to drive a CABOVER because Cody has the Cascadia on the road and the 660, show them over there, is hopefully very soon to getting ready to do this overhaul and show you that. So I'm like, we'll take the Pete. We'll be sweet in the Pete. We'll be rolling large in the car. And then I realized that it's not licensed. I haven't renewed the license plates for this truck. I'm so sorry. But don't you worry, because come here. Look what we're gonna do. This is actually gonna work out really well because the ferry operator called and he said, I need the shortest wheelbase truck that you have. We can't have a big, long truck. Granted, the Sweet Pete is not very long. It's not as long as it looks. But Blue 3, the new international CABOVER, Blue 3 is like this long and it is made to be ferried upon Lake Michigan. So I'm good. I got this truck in the shop to go ahead and get it ready to go. We're gonna grease it and top it off and rock and roll. But now I've got to get it out of the way and we got to put Blue 3 in the shop, grease it, load it up, make sure we got all the stuff we need and get on the road because they're waiting on us. Say action.
Wait, what? Okay.
So just another quick side note for you, huh? I got a little gift in the mail. A gift. A DeWalt cordless grease gun and a DeWalt work light and a really cool coupler for the grease gun. Anyway, so that's from one Carlton at Chad Smith Motorsports. Carlton Smith, is it? Carlton, you? I appreciate that. Carlton watched the video. He sent a note and said where he saw me greasing my truck and trailer in California, unloading apples at Martinelli's, and got a kick out of that. And thought, this man might be benefited by a cordless grease gun. Carlton, thank you. Like, seriously, thank you. It's something that I would never have gotten on my own. So I really appreciate that. That's a great gift. So Carlton, for you, I'm gonna send you back one of my favorites, which is an Allen livestock trucking hat. Favorite thing that I have. If you guys haven't got a look at these yet, go to the website. It's at thejacks.tv and check out the merchandise. Most of you have probably been there, but Carlton, I'm gonna kick this to you. So please send me a message, comment, send me an email, let's get in touch. And a little token of appreciation for your kindness, sir. It's hard to see in here. If only I had a DeWalt flashlight. Sweet. So if you were wondering, we were talking about wheelbase for the ferry. 160-inch wheelbase on this International. I should go measure Rooster's 1-ton pickup. I think that this is almost equivalent to the wheelbase of a pickup. So, ferryman, this is all I have to offer you. Okay, so International, I had it out on one trip already. And it just runs great. Gets unbelievable fuel mileage, which is one of the perks of taking this over the Pete with fuel at whatever, $6 a gallon. Getting a little bit of a weep from the water pump. You know, they have a weep hole, so if the water pump's starting to fail, it'll start dripping a little antifreeze. It's dripping a little antifreeze off and on, not full time, but certain times of the day it seems to. I bought a water pump for it. I have the part. I haven't had time to put it on yet, and I can't stand going out on the road knowing that I have a potential issue, but we're out of time. Been haying and going, and we're out of time. So I'm gonna bring the part with me. Hopefully I don't have to rely upon a serviceman or woman somewhere across the way in Minnesota or South Dakota or something. Hopefully we can just get out and back and we'll get that water pump slapped on. But I needed to see what kind of antifreeze. I couldn't remember. It's green antifreeze, true old school, green antifreeze. So weeds, let's top off, make sure we got some full strength green antifreeze, and then we'll get a couple gallons of water. It's still pretty much full, but let's do it just so we're as prepared as we can be for whatever the ferry has to offer us.
Okay.
Yeah, they should, if you just kind of turn them sideways, they should just kind of. I got another one. Give me your waist better. Actually, I like how you had them. So we got 2.5 waters. Got my big jack. You just never know what you're gonna need on the road, guys. And I love this little, I think that's a belt for a different truck, but you just never know what you're gonna run into. And so you try to be as prepared as possible. And this little International has a great little toolbox between the frame. Okay, so we're greased up. Top the antifreeze. Got my fuel stuff. Waiting on Haley to get some signs over here. I got to put some temporary signs on. This truck, got a lot of plans for it, but right now we just got to kind of basically just get it square for the road. So I think the sign's the last thing I need. I got my logbooks in there so that I don't get I got a letter from the FMCSA telling me that it appears you have a trend developing about your rules of hours of service, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's not what you think. So I better make sure I get a good inspection. I never get put out of service for my logbooks, but they always think I'm bending the rules. I don't know why they would think that. So they give me a, like, oh, you didn't put the proper date in like 4 days ago, or they find the littlest things. It's never like, you're over on your hours, you're going out of service, son. It's always some weird thing. But when it goes on your record, it just says logbook violation. And so when the feds see that, they're like, this guy's a renegade. Why would they think that about me? I don't know. It's wrong. They're wrong about me, you know. So you guys, this is what we had going on here. This truck's pretty sweet, this old guy. It's a one owner. This guy had some cool things he was doing to take good care of it. One of which was Centromatics. But whoever put this setup on last, they didn't line up the holes, so I couldn't check the air pressure. So, little word to the wise. When you're putting Centromatics on, make sure the holes line up. Otherwise you won't be able to check your pressure. Sure enough, it was a little low. Really important with retread tires to make sure you keep your air pressures up. This one's a little low, and look at the tread. It's still legal. It's not quite down to the wear things yet, but it's wearing uneven. It's evenly uneven. It's all just on this inner edge, so I'm just gonna fill it up full and run it. But anyway, keep those treads pumped up. See how that lines up over the hole? Yeah. Come on, baby, light my fire. You guys, it's not always, but I really try hard to have good and proper business practices here at the old Wild Wild West. And part of that is putting anti-seize on stuff. Like, yes, we're in a flaming hurry, but what if I'm in more of a hurry next time, and because I didn't take time to put this on this time, I have to heat up some of these lug nuts to get them off or something crazy. We don't want that. All right, we got the trailer on. We got the truck serviced up. We ended up having to do a couple tires on the trailer. We're a couple hours later than we were thinking we would be, as usual, but that's all right. Frito Man Freed, rocking that shirt. Check out that CABOVER shirt. Oh yeah, 497 Motorsports. All right. Anything else, Fred? We got the air conditioning turned on. First time taking a double run in the, we're calling this truck Blue 3, because we have Blue 1 that is long gone, the old 1980 Freightliner. Blue 2 is the one that you saw we took the boxes off of. And this one is officially, from this point forward, hereforth and forever known as Blue 3. Blue 3, baby.
So with that, let's hit the road. You guys keep your fingers crossed for that water pump. It should be fine. But you know how things go on the road. Okie doke, we'll keep you apprised of the situation. I'll give you a little tour once we get moved in the old truck. This semi has some features about it that are very, very, very unique, which is what led me to purchase this specific truck. What you got, Weeder?
Just Reese's bar.
Huh? What are you kind of thinking?
Maybe do I need to pay the dad tax?
Because you've been such a good boy all week, I'm gonna suspend the dad tax and let you have that whole king size Reese's.
Okay.
Enjoy, weed. You guys ever go to one of those, either a truck stop or a rest area, where you go in and you're like, I am definitely not washing my hands, because anything inside this rest area that I touch is going to make me more dirty than when I came in here to use the bathroom, regardless of the number of the bathroom you're using. We were just number one, by the way. Anyway, Broadus, Montana has the most disgusting, gross, dank, smelly, dark little rest area that is an absolute embarrassment to the state of Montana. Don't ask me how it's been forgotten. I have no idea. Most of the state has pretty good rest areas. This one, you're better off to just hike up the pasture there behind the rest area. Even if you got to go number 1, you got to go number 2, like Freddie did.
Whoa,
Either way, take your chances. You may find rattlesnakes, you may find sheep, you may find who knows out in this country. But I can tell you, no matter what you find, it will be an upgrade from the state of the Broadus, Montana port of entry rest area. Come on, you guys. Chances of anyone from Broadus watching this video is probably not this big. Also, chances are if anybody from Broadus is watching this, they probably never used the rest area in their town. Because who does that, right? You just go home and use the bathroom, because there's like 9 homes in Broadus. So, well, anyway, we skated out of there. In fact, what we did, we just ended up wiping our hands off with some diesel out of the tank. That's always a good way to clean them up, right?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, we made it here. We are in South Dakota. We're gonna throw these pieces on the trailer. It's dark. I was hoping we'd get here when it was light enough so you could see a little loading action, but it is dark, and when it's dark, you got to pay a little more attention. And so I'm gonna forego the old loading shenanigans. You're just gonna have to imagine it in your mind's eye. I got the load lights turned on back there. They're not much, but there's something. We got the old flashlight here, and the loader man should be here momentarily, and we'll get this baby popped on and get her down the road. We're actually in pretty good shape. We were doing our miles for tomorrow, and we got some good stuff in line. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow, but we're gonna get this loaded up. We're gonna get her strapped down, make sure we're good to go. Weed Man Weeds, my main strapping dog, and we'll do this. Here he's pulling up right now. Check it out. Oh yeah, the one and only Chase Vanderboom. Good morning. Good morning. This is a little I-90 sunshine, is what we call that in South Dakota. You want to see this load now in the light? Check it out. Here we go. That goes in the ground. That goes on the ground. That goes above the ground. Interesting little choice they made. They paint them to style, you know, they get to choose out the styles they want, these different parks.
and the Wisconsers going with the green roof. It'll be interesting to see how that goes together. Little tip if you're ever looking for a tip on the best way to sleep. If you have to pick an exit ramp to sleep on, which is what we did, just an old exit ramp. If you're lucky in these rural states, you can find an exit ramp sometimes where the road going off the freeway immediately turns to gravel. And if you find one that immediately turns to gravel on your satellite map, that's a good one to sleep on, because it means that nobody's going to be coming to town. Very few people are coming to town, which means not a lot of traffic driving by you. You picked the wrong exit ramp to sleep on, and there's people driving by every 30 seconds. Like, boom, right off the bat. And you're like, okay, that was not a good idea. Of course, when I go back east, that's usually my luck. Back east, but late Saturday night, picked a beautiful exit ramp here in South Dakota. Little gravel road to the south, little gravel road to the north, and still haven't seen anybody come by. Been out here stumbling around for probably the last 10 minutes doing my inspection, checking tires and checking things, checking the load, just seeing what's all what. Got a couple little straps I need to tighten here, but that's that little trick for you little motorists. Well, everything looks good. Water pump hasn't even really seeped yet. Just a couple drips, but ironically it seems to be weeping less than it did last time I ran this truck out. So we'll take it as it is. Here's a cool little thing about this rig, you guys. Not only is it getting amazing fuel mileage, but I weighed it empty yesterday coming across before I got loaded. And you gotta understand, this is with a full set of 8-foot drop tarps, which are very heavy. Dunnage. I think I carry 6 chains, boomers, straps, blah, 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 blah. This was with a heavy half tank of fuel. When I say heavy half tank, I mean like between a half and 2/3 of a tank. Anyway, guess the weight. You ready for this? 28,000 pounds. 28,000 pounds, which means I am legal. If I max out in these states that allow you to haul a little heavier, I'm legal. Axle-wise, I'm legal for almost 58,000 pounds. If you're doing it technical to be bridge legal, about 56,000 pounds. So, put a good payload on the old girl, huh? I'm starting to feel my oats. I think the people are wondering what I'm doing out here. Guess who's not awake yet? I'll give you one guess. An 11-year-old boy who's on a growth spurt. Just zonked. Humid and hot, and he zonked. Good old weeds. Oh, I remember those days. You could just sleep through anything. No matter if it was hot, cold, whatever. I'm growing. I'm sleeping. All right, well, let's kick the old girl in the ribs here, and we'll go. Got a little surprise. Little bonus footage we're going to have later on today. A little bonus.
All right, we're fueled up. We're stocked up. Oh yeah, life on the road. What do you got there, Fred?
Soda
And a thing. We're good to go. We're good to go, you guys. Next stop is gonna be the surprise. Oh, I bet you're just wondering what it is.
So here's one of the last interesting things about this trailer. It's a triple axle, but it has, this is called a tuck right here. The axles are tucked forward underneath the trailer. And what that does when you load this thing full of cattle, the weight of the cattle standing back here behind this axle acts like a kind of like a teeter-totter, and it actually pulls up on the front of the trailer enough that you can load quite a few cattle in the front of the trailer. See, a trailer that's set up normally, when you load, you can put like 2 cows in the nose, and then you fill the center of the trailer, and then you got to stuff them on this back end. You know, you'd have to stuff them back in here. If you put more than like 2 cows in the nose, you're usually going to be a little overweight on your drive axles. But the way this trailer's set up, because those axles are slid forward, it pulls some weight off the front of that and allows you to, for example, put like 4 cows in the nose. So instead of having to stuff them on the back end like a regular triple axle, you can put 4 cows on the nose, give everybody a little more room, equalize your compartments a little better, and you're still not overweight. And my thought was, I'm gonna haul cattle with this international CABOVER this fall, and I was thinking, it's so light, I don't need a lift axle on it. I can hook that international to this trailer, and I can haul probably 61,000 pounds legally. That was kind of my hope, was that this would be a good set, and I don't have to worry about trying to fit a lift axle on another truck. I've done that with all my trucks in the past. I put lift axles on them, but this international is so light, I think I can get away with not using a lift axle easy, and to keep it really aerodynamic and just tight, and just have this tight little rig that rolls down the road that doesn't use very many tires. That was my plan. I'll be honest, I'm a little bummed out. I was hoping it was going to be a little better. Obviously, that's why the price point is reasonable, but when I factor in the shape that it's in, probably not a great value. I mean, I think there's still value there because it's good. Most of the hinges are totally fine. The only one that needs any work at all is this doghouse situation along here. And I've got a really good guy that's really good at fixing these cow trailers, and he could, probably spend $1,500 on it, rebuild it all and get it all super shippity. But the hinges the gates do work good. You can tell they greased it. It's probably, a lot of these things that you've seen where the panels had some ripping in them. And another thing is the floor is a little bit like this between the cross members. So the aluminum between 2 cross members, the aluminum is dished down a little bit. And that's always a sign that it's spent most of its life hauling heavy animals. Whereas, check this out, this is a pig trailer. I don't know how old this is, but probably probably not too different in age. And the floors, everything on these pig trailers are just beautiful. So I like buying pig trailers to run and haul cows with because the floors are always amazing. But anyway, that's where we're at. Like I say, that hinge up there, that needs a little work. Floors are fine. we're keeping the cattle business flowing, but I'm trying to slow down in my cow hauling. So for the amount of trucking I'm planning on doing moving forward, this trailer is probably all in the world that I would need and more. There's rust underneath. That's typical of anything out here in the Midwest where they just salt and salt and salt and salt. Canada, salt. It's just the way. It's a shame. It's such a waste of resource when you look at what it does to equipment. You're trying to be resourceful and make things last a long time, and then they do this to the roads. And it's like, well,
you can't make this last a long time. Another interesting thing with Merritt is Merritt uses steel frames still. I don't know why. Wilson uses aluminum, and I wish Merritt would. You can order them with aluminum, but their kind of go-to is steel frames. You know, a little bit of this where you know there's some corrosion between the, you can't even get to it to clean it out, but not the end of the world, especially where it's going. It's not going to get a bunch of salt and stuff anymore. It's not going to continue to erode. So I don't know. I like it's got, you probably saw those. It's got this is a winter kit. Those panels are made to slide into these channels here. And you slide them up in there, and then they set down into this, and it just holds them in place in the wintertime, you know, or when it's colder in the fall. Also helps your fuel mileage a lot, plugging up a bunch of those holes. So it'd be kind of a cool rig to have on the CABOVER, because the way it balances, you know, I can haul a big load, I can fill that nose up without being overweight up there. I can put boards on and help fuel mileage get even better. But I don't know, I'll have to chew on it and see. I've got a few other little options floating around out there still. I got to check out, but here's how stupid the cow trailer market is right now. This is a quad. Let's look and see what year it is. Okay, this quad, this is a 2000 and it was made in July of 2016, so they'll call it a 17. You know how that goes. I have the exact same trailer at home that I pulled last fall. I paid $61,000 for it. I think they have this advertised right now for like, I shouldn't even say because I can't remember. I saw it online when I was looking at that trailer, but it was high. It was like 90,000 or 85,000 or something crazy. Like, I'm not gonna play that game. So anyway, got a ton of lights on it. It would be a beautiful rig in the nighttime. It would hold true to the cow trailer bull hauler deal. It's only a 7-year-old trailer. The wiring and stuff's probably good. They acidized the tar out of it, so to speak. Just all the road grime and everything, they just blasted it, which is fine. That's fine. Anyway, that was a surprise. I was hoping that it was going to be a little bit more, I want to check one more thing, a little more spriky, but it is kind of is what it is, and they have it. I'd still like them to come down maybe another $5,000 off the price just for me to put it back into some running gear and some rust removal and a couple hinges and stuff to fix. But I think I talked to the guy, a real nice guy. Here's another deal where they backed under. This was the frame of the truck. When they backed under, smashed this. They missed this, and kind of busted out this. See that, Fred?
Yeah.
Kind of busted this thing out. I mean, it's not hurting anything, but just a little cosmetic blemish. But I don't know. What do you think? It'll haul cows, right?
Yeah.
So likely, what I would use this trailer for, you guys, would be September till Christmas time. You know, probably haul a couple loads a week with it to the Midwest and back and forth. And for that, and most of those loads are gonna have sawdust on the floor, it'll probably just go. And I think if I can get them to come to terms on a price that's favorable, that allows me to put some of that savings back into it that I would like to do, probably be all right.
It's like a porta potty.
Totally is. Good news, you guys. Freddie knows something. I told him that we're in the suburbs of Minneapolis, and he knew what the suburbs were, which are what, Weeds?
Like the outside of the town, but not like still in the town.
Yeah. Actually, more specifically, we're in the suburb of Shakopee, which is very ironic because we are hauling a yeah 100%. Sometimes the universe aligns just right, and today is that day. We are hauling a giant outhouse through the suburb of Shakopee, Minnesota, south of the Twin Cities. Breaker. I would almost venture to guess that somebody out there listening to my voice may be a resident of, not to be confused with House of, yep, or, so man, what else could we go with? Shack of? Yes. Man. Smell that? All right, you guys, we made it. We are here. We are on the shores of Lake
Michigan.
Yep. Oh, we just came down to check it out. Tomorrow's gonna be wild. Tomorrow's gonna be one of those things that you'll remember the rest of your trucking career. Hopefully not for the reason Freddie was thinking. He was saying, what if we go down? What if we go down? You'll see more what I mean tomorrow. Oh, ooh. Hopefully not. Do I look scary? I am the beast of Lake Michigan. I am here to sink the ferry ships to the bottom of Lake Kitchugumi. Oh, 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 oh. I look scary. Here, Weed, you try.
Usually there's like a spot right on your chin that you can kind of make it with your eyes completely shadowed, but you don't have
you
a
gotta
chin.
do it. I know. Now say a scary voice.
Hey, I'm Freddie.
That was scary. Maybe Matt can make that sound scarier than it was.
Hey, I'm Freddie.
But you guys, for now, it's bedtime. Bedtime. Parked in a big old nice no parking zone as usual. But we're a special delivery, so I think we're good. You can use those quick zooms too. Put it this way a little bit. How'd it go first round?
It was perfect. Yeah. We ended up getting it right off. So
No problem.
I think what we'll do is we're gonna back you on there and we'll just check it out once we come in with 80,000. We'll just make sure that we may have to take a little crate out of the dock. But if it works out, I'll probably just sit and wait and take you right back out. It sounds like he could get you on board in a half hour.
Yeah, he's pretty quick.
Yeah. So rather than, because if I leave and start hauling cars, then we're gonna end up getting stuck.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you probably want to get on your way.
You know, I don't mind. I don't know if you mind. We're filming some YouTube.
Okay.
Got a YouTube channel. Does that bother you at all? You're cool
I
with
don't
that?
care.
Okay, I'll probably get some drone footage. All right, guys, so we're on the boat. We made her, got squared away. Should be good. We got the whole ferry just to ourselves. No cars allowed, just us. I think it's about a 20-minute, 30-minute ride across the way. 80,000 pound load, and we'll see what kind of treasures await us on the other side. This side has this fancy hydraulics and the nice gate you see going on over here, but the other side is much more homemade. So the other side may get a slight bit dicey. Like a moving thing of this. All right, we're back on. We're empty. gonna. What do they call this? Is technically what, the gangplank? Is that what they call it?
Gate.
The gate? I like gangplank better. Sounds more hardcore, right? We're not pirates though. That's probably a pirate thing.
That sounds like you are kind of pirate.
Doesn't do any of the YouTube. Move the camera a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be getting that one back.
You know, perhaps interesting to people to see. This, they call it B-roll. So we just kind of moved on. Not even here. That chest hair coming out, the ladies will like that.
We'll be all kind of nice people this one. So to the beach.
Mostly antelope is what's on our place lately, the last few years.
Not a whole lot of camels for fun.
Enjoy the experience.
How do you make money off the YouTube though?
I like your old school journal.
Yeah.
Right. You can hop in. Alright. We're back on the mainland. Mother Earth, I think they call it. I think that's what the maritime folks call it, Mother Earth, when you make it back to land. I'm always paranoid situations like this. I'm like, what if the truck doesn't start? Oh, we're very close in the front of the boat. Anyway, it's gonna be a little dicey getting wiggled around here. Make that angle. Tight, y'all. Got cars everywhere waiting to load. I don't want you to film. Alright, y'all. Made it. We have nothing like doing a 90-degree blindside back off of a ferry in front of 150 cars lined up waiting to get on the ferry. Yeah, it ain't nothing for old battle axe. So right now, the plan, we're kind of still looking. There's still no loads. You can refresh your searches. So maybe as we work our way west, something will pop up. We'll just hope for the best. But We're 1,100 miles from home, and if you do the math on that in this truck, this truck gets amazing fuel mileage, by the way. I'm getting between 6.1 and 7.3 miles per gallon with this truck, loaded most of the time. It's awesome. So empty, I'm figuring 8.5 miles to the gallon. It's gonna cost me $750 to drive home empty. So if we don't find any loads, $750, and it'll get me home 2 days sooner. So of course I'm gonna keep looking, and if something pops up, definitely we'll grab it, because it'll probably pay, $2,000 or $3,000. But I'm not gonna sit out here and twiddle my thumbs and wait when there's so much stuff going on at home to do. To me, it's worth it, even if I have to eat the fuel, pay the $750 out of my pocket just to get home. Gets me home 2 days sooner. There's so much stuff to do at the ranch right now, so much stuff to do in the shop right now, so much stuff to do with music right now. It's okay. I'll eat the cost, and my time is valuable enough to me to just blast home. Now that's not ideal. That's not. I'm not just putting the blinders on and being like, I'm just going home. Some truckers get caught in that, where they have a really good gig going one way, and they're like, I'm just gonna bounce back. We call it bouncing back. I'm just gonna bounce back. I'm not just like giving up and bouncing back, but I've done my math. I know what it's gonna cost. That gets me home. If it costs $750 to get home 2 days sooner, divide that by 2. Basically, it's going to cost me $350 a day to be home. But my time is worth that. With the amount of work and things we need to get done, and just done, to me, that's still worth it. So I'm not going to bemoan it too much. It's definitely a sign, you guys. There should not be any period of time anywhere across the country this time of year that you can't find a spot freight load going in general directions, either way, back or forth across the country. So I guess we're officially in a recession, analytically or whatever. So no surprise, we've been talking about it for a long time. That car just about drove off the road. Wow. We see a lot of that out here. You'd be surprised at stuff you see when you drive all day, every day. But anyway, that's the deal. And I didn't ever think in 1,000 years that I would be potentially driving home empty. Cross your fingers. We're gonna just keep pushing west and see what shakes out.
Well, you're here with me and we decided, you guys, it's really bad. In fact, it was so bad that I checked, because I was like, there's something wrong with this app. There's no way it's working right. Something's wrong with it. So I started typing in cities with no destination in mind. Just pick a big city and put the search parameters, just open up to go anywhere. And sure enough, like I clicked on Chicago. 77 loads in Chicago going out. And I'm like, so the app is working. It's just there's nothing moving around the west, out to the west, around the west. Bizarrely quiet. We checked. What other cities did you check while we were waiting for our food?
Sioux Falls.
There's nothing in Sioux Falls again.
We did Minneapolis.
Oh, Fargo too.
Yeah.
And usually, I thought, earlier when I was filming, I thought, what, it's probably just early in the day, and now the day is pretty much spent, and there's still nothing. I'm just blown away. So I'm like, I get this flatbed home and park this thing, because don't need to be out here dinking around with that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, because I've been saying for weeks and weeks that this was coming. It's just hard to realize that it's here, So we decided to stop and have some breakfast for dinner, kind of a deal. So we're gonna eat some food, clean up, and the time the sun comes up tomorrow morning, we'll be clear back across North Dakota. So our goal is to make Montana by daylight. So anyway, that's the deal, guys. I thought we're gonna have a whole nother half of an episode for you where what are we gonna find? What are we gonna haul? Loading it up and doing the deal, but That's not happening. Like the Fosh, like the sun. Oh, baby. Tell you what, you're ever trucking on, I think it's 29, isn't it? Yep, Highway 29 across Wisconsin. The Abbeyland truck stop. Curtis, Wisconsin. Isn't that what was on? Yeah, Curtis. Y'all, oh man. Tell you what, Eggs Benedict were $9.99. Oh, I got the omelet. The omelet was $10.50. 2 giant super tanker trucker refills. How much was it? $2.58. $2.58 out the gate. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Still no loads. Let's get out of here.
There's a place I have never been, on the cover of a magazine, alright. Gotta stay till the bitter end, I'm the upshot of fallen trends, alright. Is it time for me? There's no guarantee. I see everybody hazy, no one here to phase me. I'm crowding with myself.
So we ended up just pushing on through the night. Nothing popped up. I did put a thing out on Instagram, and I had a couple messages from a few truckers that use some alternate load sourcing apps, basically some different load boards. And there was one load that one of them had found that was in my vein, could have worked possibly, but I was already past the load point and everything. It was after hours. So at that point, we were kind of in a situation where it was, you could stop, stay the night, call them early in the morning and hope that the load was still there. But a lot of times they don't take loads down immediately. So there's no way to know if that load had been spoken for. So we would have been in Wisconsin overnight again, waiting and wondering. And it wasn't totally en route. I'd have to go, a few hundred miles off route from where I'm at now. But anyways, I'm kind of at a point where I'm not real thrilled with my current load board. Might bail on them for somebody else. So I don't know if my load board that I've been using for the last 5 years, which is Truck Stop, I don't know if they're losing some market share, more competition. But the company that was offering this particular load that could have potentially worked, that company used to be on my load board. I've seen their name on my load board and they're not anymore. So for some reason that company, which is pretty large, wasn't offering that load on my load board, but they were on some other load boards. So I don't know. It's disappointing because you just pay subscriptions to these load boards, and I don't flatbed a ton anymore. It's usually just to do this toilet deal or to haul some hay. So I go out 4 or 5 times a year and I'm looking for backhauls. So I don't want to get subscriptions to 3 different load boards for these 3 or 4 loads a year that I end up needing to get on a load board for. But the way it is now, I should probably just cancel my subscription, and next time I know I have a load, reach out on Instagram. There's a pretty good network of truckers, and I think I could probably get one of my social mediating friends to find me a load rather than paying $40 a month for a load board subscription year round that I only use 4 times a year. So anyway, we are in western North Dakota, just about to Dickinson, for those of you that are familiar with with North Dakota. The wind's blowing about 50 miles an hour right in our face, which is typical of North Dakota. Man, you wouldn't believe the hay they have out here this year. Even the sides of the roads are just hay, 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 hay. Oh, here's a bright spot though. Here's a bright spot with having to drive empty all the way home. This truck is performing unbelievably, you guys. Unbelievably. I factored that if I could get 8 miles per gallon going home, it would cost me $750 to have to bounce all the way home empty from Green Bay. I fueled up here in New Salem, North Dakota, and from Wisconsin to here. And I've been driving very prudently. I've just kind of been keeping my cruise set at 63 miles an hour. And now in this headwind, I'm only going 57. Just going really easy. You guys, that's the key to fuel mileage. Don't fight the wind. Don't hammer. Hammer when you need to hammer. And if you don't need to hammer, just go easy. But anyway, you're not even going to believe this, but I don't lie about my fuel mileage. I am 100% honest with you. 9.01 miles per gallon with this semi-empty. Because that's not too bad in a CABOVER. Not too shabby. So because of that, you know, I've wanted to do some modifications to this engine. Usually when you tune an engine up, give it a little more horsepower, put a little performance on it, some parts, some performance parts, excuse me. It'll kind of jazz things up and help your fuel mileage, usually by a mile per gallon. I'm afraid to do anything to this one, and I even kind of partially wonder if this old fella that had it before me already did something to it, because I've just never been in a truck that in a stock factory setting performs like this, especially not in a CABOVER from '99. You know, it's an N14 Cummins, which were a good engine, you know, but they're not known for amazing fuel mileage. That's the Detroit. So I'm kind of hesitant to even do anything until I start hauling some cows and see. It pulls the flatbed load real nice down the road. I don't feel like I need more power, and the way it's performing, I don't really want to mess with anything. It's like, let's just run it. Let's just leave it be. So you've probably noticed in the video a few times, it has a weird idle sound. It sounds like it's missing, meaning that an injector is missing when it's at idle. But it doesn't smoke. It's got all kinds of power, and it's getting amazing fuel mileage. So even that, I can have a cutout test done next time I'm in the shop for some stuff. I like to do this water pump, which is leaking again, by the way. I can have a cutout test done and maybe see if there's something going on there. But usually if you're missing, you know, you're blowing a little smoke or a little haze or something, it's just not, and it's performing amazing. So some of these N14s, you know, just kind of have that clunky sound, and being a CABOVER that you're sitting right on top of it all the time, maybe the sound projects a little differently. I don't know. We might look into that, but I don't really want to, like I say, mess with it too much, because everything right now is just like, woo. And it has very few miles on an overhaul anyway, so I know the injectors, even though they're N14 injectors, you know, they're not that old, so we might just leave it be. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, you guys, that's gonna probably do it for me and Weed Man Weeds. He's riding on the side. We just got unhooked. We're gonna take this thing around to the shop and get her lined up to do a little work. Good thing about these long trips, you learn any little things that need to be done, right, Frito?
Yeah.
Favorite moment of the trip? Had to be the boat for me, man.
Yeah.
Like, when are you ever gonna drive a ferry across Lake Michigan? Not across, but you know what I mean. I think that was it for me. Was yours the Eggs Benedict yesterday at the truck stop?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe that was. Ooh, the endless hot water. It was too hot.
Yeah.
The shower yesterday was way too hot. Anyway, you guys, I'm glad you came along. Hope you enjoyed that little journey. The only hang-up really that we had the whole trip was not being able to get a backhaul, which kind of financially bombs the week. But that's trucking sometimes. Not everything you do in trucking is going to be a home run, and that's important to remember. We're still in the black this week. You know, we still made some money after we tally up our fuel. You know what the load paid. We're still going to make a couple $1,000. Should have been more like $4,000 or $5,000 profit for the week. You know, if we got that backhaul, but we didn't. And seriously, that's just how it goes. You just move on to the next deal, and we got a few little laundry list items for this truck to take care of now, and you just press on and press forward. So you guys have a wondrous rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, or night, whatever time of day you're watching this, and we'll catch you on the next one. Come here if you ever did this with yours, but doing a cutout test. Check this out. Now you hear it right now, right? This is running good. Check out number 2. Nice and smooth. Turn it back on. Turn it back off. Listen how smooth it is now with that thing on.